Good evening, Nigeria. This evening, you are welcome to the Voice of the People 90.3 FM. This is the number one station that gives you a voice in Nigeria and indeed all over the world. The program you're now tuned into is called The Recap, and this is where we look at issues that made major headlines during the week. Okay, it's a program where we discuss and analyze some of the major issues that trended during the week. And of course, with me to do the analysis, I have Mr. Peter Anosike in the studios. Peter Anosike is a philosopher, a development economist, a journalist, and a best-selling author. He's the author of Dangote's 10 Commandments on Money. This book was rated as one of the best development books in the world by the Wall Street Journal. And here in Nigeria, it was adopted as a workbook for grooming entrepreneurs by the Small and Medium Enterprises Development Agency of Nigeria, SMEDAN, a federal government agency in charge of small and medium businesses in the country. So if you're just joining us, welcome to the recap. You haven't really missed a thing. We're about to delve into the crux of the conversation, so sit tight, fasten your seatbelts. It's about to be an informative and enlightening discussion. Welcome to the program. Okay, on today's edition of the recap, we're discussing quite a number of issues bordering on the Nigerian situation. Okay, first of all, we'll be looking at kidnapping. The federal government warns Nigerians against crowdfunding for ransom. While the federal government has warned Nigerians about the dangers inherent in getting involved in crowdfunding to raise funds for ransom payments, the Minister of Defense, Mohammed Badara Abubakar, warned on Wednesday this week that such practices could worsen the situation and encourage the criminals to make demands after kidnapping their victims, as it will make criminal activities more attractive. He gave the note of warning while speaking to journalists after the Federal Executive Council meeting in the State House in Abuja. Now, the minister spoke against the backdrop of the recent happenings in which over 50 million naira was raised through crowdfunding to pay the ransom for the release of the remaining 5 daughters of Mansour Al-Qadriya, who were kidnapped from their home in Abuja. However, the minister insisted that while the government is concerned about the kidnappings, raising ransom through crowdfunding will not help the situation. Now, this is the first topic we'll be looking at today. We know that kidnapping has been rampant in Nigeria, and indeed no one is safe, not even if you're in your homes, not even when you're walking on the street or you're driving in your own car. This kidnappers will just find a way to steal people from their loved ones and then begin to demand money, and then they would say to you, oh, if you can't afford it, I mean, just tell your family people to put it online now, and then let everybody, contribute to it. Is this sustainable? This is the very first topic we'll be discussing today. We'll also be looking at the People's Democratic Party (PDP) heading over to the NJC over the appeal court verdict ousting Plateau lawmakers. Now, we know that this happened last week, right? The National Working Committee of the People's Democratic Party (PDP) has sent petitions to the National Judicial Council (NJC) and the Federal Judicial Service Commission over its members in the Senate, the House of Reps, and the Plateau State House of Assembly, who were all sacked by the Court of Appeal last year. Now, the Court of Appeal sitting in Abuja had in November last year sacked all 16 members of the PDP in the Plateau State House of Assembly for pre-election matters bordering on alleged disobedience to court order and lack of political structure. Now, before then, the appeal court had sacked 4 PDP members of the House of Reps from the state and 2 senators. Foremost lawyer Chief Mike Ozekome, a senior advocate of Nigeria, accused the appeal court of taking away the voting rights of Plateau State citizens, adding that the injustice inflicted on the people would last until the next 4 years. That is, if the people they did not vote for are allowed to be on the seat based on pre-election matters. We know that the Supreme Court ruled that this pre-election matters, it concerns the political party, and there is no need for an opponent to bring pre-election matters as a basis to tell the court to chase a sitting governor out and declare you as winner. So what happens to these 16 PDP lawmakers in Plateau State? This is also what we'll be discussing today on the recap. Also, don't worry about Japa. Nigeria will train more people, says President Tinubu. President Bola Tinubu on Monday this week assured Nigerians not to be bothered about the mass exodus of skilled workers from the country, assuring the citizens that the federal government, in collaboration with sub-nationals, will train more persons to fill the professional gap now conspicuous in health, tech, and other sectors of the economy and in the country. The president spoke in a word, Imo State capital, during the second term inauguration ceremony of Governor Hope Uzodinma. Now addressing the people of the state shortly after the governor took the oath of office, the president said the education of children and youth is a priority for the administration of the ruling APC. He said, don't worry about what you're hearing about the Jackma syndrome. We will train more people and we will supply themselves. You see, the priority in industrialization and healthcare will receive more allocation and more attention. Okay, we'll also be looking at the appeal court president should quit over massive injustice to Plateau voters, and this is coming from Huriwa, the Human Rights Writers Association of Nigeria, saying on Monday that the decision of the Supreme Court, which validated the election of the Plateau State Governor Caleb Mutfwang, has shown that the Court of Appeal, according to him, willfully staged a judicial coup d'etat against the voters in Plateau State by unconstitutionally planting APC legislators to replace PDP legislators at both the National Assembly for Plateau State and the substantial number of validly elected PDP state legislators in Plateau State House of Assembly. Now, the rights group is saying that the president of the Court of Appeal, Justice Monica Dangba-Mensem, under whose leadership such a groundswell of unconstitutional acts were committed willfully by justices of the Court of Appeal that she appointed, they should accept responsibility for this colossal illegality in Plateau State, particularly, and quit the stage for a fresh president of the Court of Appeal to be inaugurated. So, the Human Rights Writers Association of Nigeria is demanding for the sack or the resignation of the appeal court president, saying that she entrenched illegality that happened in Plateau State. And finally, Atiku laments that poverty and hunger are escalating insecurity in Nigeria. Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has lamented the killing of another of the captives abducted by kidnappers from their homes in the Federal Capital Territory, FCT. Folorunso Ariyo, a 13-year-old student, was one of the 10 people kidnapped from Sagwari Estate Layout in Dutse, Buari Area Council of the FCT on January 7 this year. Now, the kidnappers reportedly murdered more victims, including this young teenager. This came barely 24 hours after the killing of Nabiha Al-Kadriya, a 400-level student of the biological science at Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, Kaduna State. It is so sad, but basically, the two issues we're talking about today are insecurity, and we're also looking at the judiciary and at the president saying he would fix the Japa wage. It doesn't matter how many people Japa, he is more than able to fix the nation. While all this and more we'll be discussing on the recap, until stay with us. You're tuned into Voice of the People 90.3 FM. My name is Ijeoma Innocent. I'm your host, and the recap has just begun. Like I said before, fasten your seatbelts. At exactly 5 p.m., the phone lines will be open and you can call in. But in the meantime, you can always send your WhatsApp messages to our WhatsApp platforms. It is 0700 903 9039. We are live on YouTube, so let's see your comment on our YouTube platforms as well. Just head on over to YouTube and type into your search bar VOP 903 FM, and you will see us live and direct. In case you want to put a face to the voice, or you want to put faces to the names, or you just want to see our studio setup, head on over to YouTube. We're there right now. Beginning with the very first topic, the federal government is warning Nigerians against the crowdfunding for ransom. I have Mr. Nosuke right here in the studio, development economist, best-selling author, and of course a political, social, and national affairs analyst. Mr. Nosuke, welcome to the program.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
So the federal government is saying we should no longer crowdfund for ransom, but they're not securing our lives and properties, right? I was on Twitter when people were contributing for the release of their Al-Qadriya siblings. That's Najiba and her sisters, because there were about 6 sisters who were kidnapped. These are people who their parents have trained up to university level. Their parents were not able to pay the ransom and they killed one of them. They also killed someone from another family. And it's so sad because these people weren't even picked up on the road. These kidnappers literally went into their homes. I have been talking about how this is in the FCT, Nigeria's seat of power. If our capital city is not safe, the capital city where the home of the Nigerian president is located is not safe, then where is? How can they tell us to stop crowdfunding for ransom if they're unable to protect our lives and our properties?
Well, for me, the crowdfunding was as a sort of desperation. They want to save the lives of those victims. But the truth is that the cure of this problem is worse than the disease. Understand me? The cure of the problem is worse than disease itself. Crowdfunding is very, very dangerous. It is going to worsen the act of kidnapping. Right now, the country is experiencing kidnapping epidemic. That is what is going on in the country at the moment. Kidnapping epidemic. And it's happening everywhere in the country. It's happening in Lagos, it's happening in Abuja, it's happening in Kaduna, every part of the country. It is an epidemic that we have in this country. And those people that did the crowdfunding, in their mind, they are offering help. Understand? In their mind, they want to save the life of those people. But the consequences of that will be too bad for the country. It will make kidnapping a lucrative business.
So they're right in saying we should no longer crowdfund, right? It
is dangerous. For me, I don't support it in any way.
So the kidnappers, whenever they kidnap people who they know don't have money, they'll tell them, why not tell your family members to gather the money for you, or tell them to post it online.
So that is what with crowdfunding, kidnapping now becomes a lucrative business, because before the target was on the rich, because they believe that their families can afford. But with kidnapping, but with this crowdfunding thing, it becomes that's an everybody's affair. It means that they can kidnap both of the poor and the rich. After all, the social media is there for them that to put it, and people will start contributing. So this will make kidnapping more lucrative than even an oil business. So my appeal to Nigerians is that they should not crowdfund for anybody. It is not encouraging, it's not advisable. It should stop. And the minister that even got involved in that should be queried, because it means that he has lost the hope that's of the security of the country. For the minister former to get involved in that makes it even more dangerous. And information technology, internet has made the world that's a community,
a global village.
So this thing now has gotten to the people in Europe, to the people in America, that Nigerians are now crowdfunding for kidnappers. Understand? This is is aiding, what we call in law, aiding and abetting. It means that Nigeria is now aiding and abetting this kind of atrocity.
But in a situation where the security agencies, we can't say they are not making efforts, right? But their efforts is not yielding the kind of fruits that we want to see. Up until we speak, these people are still in captivity, right? So Nigerians crowdfunding, they're not doing that because they're trying to undermine maybe the constitution, or they're trying to commit a crime. They just feel for those who are in captivity.
They did that out of desperation. They did that out of let us help these people out. But I'm talking of the consequences of that action.
So what then should we do when we see such?
For me, let us revert to the old order,
which is
kidnapping shouldn't be. They must not be encouraged. Understand? Before, kidnappers their hope is that when they kidnap somebody, that the members of the family will raise this money. So their target was mainly on the rich. Understand? But once people begin to crowdfund, it means that anybody can be a victim. They can just be picking anybody, knowing that they are going to put that information in the internet and people will begin to donate. And mind you, they are donating this money into an account. They are paying this money into an account.
And they are calling with a phone number. That's why it should be more easier for the security agencies to trace them. So should we not be talking more about security agencies doing their jobs and just telling Nigerians, oh, don't crowdfund? If we are seeing cases where you are actually making efforts to rescue kidnapped victims, then when you tell Nigerians don't crowdfund, it will be easier for them to say, okay, security agencies are on it.
These people are calling phone numbers, and they told us that no, any phone with any number without NIN cannot operate. So if these people are calling phone numbers, it means that it must be registered numbers, and every registered number has the addresses of the owner. Understand? So why are they not catching them? They are lodging this money into a bank. And that bank, every bank account in this country now has NIN. Why are they not tracing these accounts? Why are they not tracing these phone numbers? So our security agencies are culpable. They are culprits in this business, because I will use that word, business, even though it's a negative business. So this looks like a syndicate, because this money are being paid into an account which can easily be traced. If we have a functioning security agencies, if we have functioning technological system, they are calling with phone numbers which should have NIN. So it means that the former communication minister defrauded the country. It means that all that he did with NIN, both in the bank and in the phones, are not yielding any results. If people can pay money into a kidnapper's account, they cannot trace this money. If kidnappers can call with phone numbers, they cannot trace this call. It means that our security agencies are also involved in this. It means that all the NIN stuff doesn't have any effect. Because if the police want to trace you now, they will trace you.
Of course.
Understand?
It's always very easy.
Understand?
When they want to trace.
If they want to block your account now, they will do it. Why are they not tracing the phone number that the kidnappers are using that to call? Why are they not tracing the account numbers that those doing this crowdfunding we are paying this money into? Understand? So our security agencies have serious questions to answer. But that does not mean that I support crowdfunding. Crowdfunding is dangerous. It should not be encouraged at all. For me, let us revert to the old system.
Which is, what is the old system?
The old system, when they kidnap somebody, they will expect that the family of the person will raise that money.
But if the family can't raise it, that's when they then come online and then ask for crowdfunding.
I'm telling you, the consequences is a disaster.
Yeah, we understand the consequences, but what should the family do? They should borrow. What should they do if the security agencies are not forthcoming? Or if they are doing their best and they still can't locate those who were kidnapped? What should the family
must give? Understand me? They must continue that to give them, because this is a negotiation I know of one professor they kidnapped some time ago. They started with a 30 million. The guy, the professor was saying, I don't have money. They thought that the professor's money is as big as his name. Understand? So when they kidnapped him, they mentioned the 30 million. He asked them, where did you see 30 million? I don't have. Understand? They were doing all this until they got to 5 million. So once they are not seeing your inability to pay, they will continue that to come down. But once they notice that people can crowdfund, they will stick to whatever they agreed on. Because people, they know that it's not only the members of the family of that person that is going to raise this money. So crowdfunding is going to make kidnapping a lucrative business. Understand? And it will be very, very dangerous for this country. And even with this crowdfunding, no investor will come into this country because it makes it very, very obvious that Nigeria is insecure. Since we are now crowdfunding for those in kidnapping, then the only crowdfunding that I've heard since I was born up to now is where people contribute money for somebody seeking for political office.
People also contribute money online for sick people, for people who are trying to pay off their tuition bills as well.
I'm telling you the origin of that word, crowdfunding.
Okay.
That is the origin of this word, crowdfunding. Contributing money for somebody who is seeking for a political office. Understand? And not to rescue somebody in the den of kidnappers. That is the duty of the security agencies, not the people. So it means that people are now doing the job of the security agencies while they are taking their pay every month. So my position is that this crowdfunding should stop. People should stop contributing money to those that have been kidnapped. Then the security agencies, I wonder why they would appoint somebody as IG. He would now be waiting for to be given a marching order. Understand? You would appoint somebody as an IG, as a commissioner. He has taken an oath of office. He will now be waiting to be given a marching order to do the work for which he has been appointed. So kidnapping has become an epidemic in Nigeria. The security enforcement agencies have now been given the marching order. They must go and stop all these things. Because since they are using bank accounts, since they are using phone numbers,
it shouldn't be that hard to get.
It shouldn't be difficult to get. That's my position on that.
Okay, then you are listening to the recap right here on Voice of the People 90.3 FM. My name is Ijeoma Innocent. I'm your host, and I have Mr. Peter Anosike on seat right here. We're dissecting issues that made the rounds during the week. We've been talking about crowdfunding for kidnapping cases. Let's now look at the PDP heading over to the National Judicial Council over the appeal court verdict ousting Plateau lawmakers. We've spoken about this before, right? The PDP, they are saying, look, if the Supreme Court said that the same case for which these lawmakers were ousted, the same case for which they were told to leave the seat and replaced with the APC lawmakers, is the same case that the Plateau state governor won at the Supreme Court, then something should be done about those 16 lawmakers so that the will of the people will be done. It is who the people want that will be on seat, right? Would you say this is a right move, seeing as all cases like this end at the Supreme Court, they can't take it, end at the appeal court rather, they can't take it to the Supreme Court? Do you feel that the party has done the best thing by taking it up as a party and not leaving them to go as individuals now?
For me, what the PDP did is the right thing. And if APC is a party that has a soul, if APC is a party that has conscience, if the APC lawmakers, that those 16 lawmakers that were given certificate of return, if they have any iota of conscience, they should return those certificates, knowing that it does not belong to them. Those 16 APC lawmakers that were given that certificate of return, if they have any iota of conscience, they should return those certificates of return, because the Supreme Court has told them that their victory is an illegality. Understand? It is a judicial coup, and the Supreme Court did well by making that pronouncement that what happened at the appeal court is a judicial coup. It is an illegality. It is a willful denial of people's mandate, because the people of Plateau State voted for PDP and never for APC. And I keep on saying, no right-thinking human being can vote for APC. They don't merit any right-thinking person's vote.
But there were people who voted for the party during last.
That's what I say. No right-thinking human being can vote for APC. People voted, but I said no right-thinking human being can vote for APC. No somebody who has conscience, nobody who is well-meaning that can vote for APC.
But don't you, but such
people voted for them. I'm telling you, what is the conscience?
I'm saying such people.
What's the conscience of those that voted for them?
They are entitled to
sure.
Votes.
I'm not saying that they are entitled. They are not. It is their right. But I say no well-meaning human being can vote for APC. No human being with good conscience can vote for APC. Nobody that means well can vote for APC. So if those 16 lawmakers, so-called lawmakers, have conscience, they should return those certificates, because the Supreme Court, which is the highest court in the land, has made it crystal that obvious that they did not merit that office. So it is a denial of the mandate that was given to PDP. And this was done willfully. Not that it is not that it is an accident. It is a willful act, because appeal court previously had passed judgments on that the pre-election matters is not for the tribunal, it's not for the appeal court. And mind you, if a governorship case is stopped at the appeal court, APC will have been an APC person will have been the governor of that state. Understand me? If the governorship stops at the appeal court, APC will have been the party in power in that state. Imagine that gross injustice. Imagine such that day and night robbery of the people's mandate. So what the PDP did is what they are supposed to do. You are not encouraged to take the laws into your hand. The Supreme Court has made their pronunciation. So the NJC, the National Judicial Council, should now sit and know how to address this injustice. They should now sit down and know how to, because for me, those 16 APC lawmakers taking the salaries for 4 years is criminality. It is a crime for you to be taking salaries for a nation which you did not win. So if the NJC fail to do something about this, it is dangerous. So what PDP did is the right thing. NJC should now sit down and look at this case and know what to do, because for me, it will be injustice to deny the 16 lawmakers of the mandate that was duly given to them by the people of Plateau State. it will be criminality for the 16 APC lawyers to be parading themselves as lawmakers for elections which they did not win. Understand me? And be taking a salary for 4 years for an election which they did not win. So what PDP did is the right thing.
Okay. If you say the PDP has done the right thing by going to the NJC, the National Judicial Council, and also the Federal Judicial Service Commission, what do you expect to be the response of the Judicial Service Commission, seeing as it's all of these justices and these lawyers, they are under this commission? Wouldn't they want to protect their own?
For me, the interest of the country should supersede personal interest. Understand me? Whatever we are doing, our country should, America say, country first. Understand me? Americans say Americans first. So Nigerians should be saying Nigeria first. Nigerian judiciary should be saying the interest of the masses first. So if they fail to right this wrong, it is very, very wrong. So we are watching them. Understand? So that all eyes on judiciary has not ended. So this is another all eyes on judiciary. Let us see how they are going to handle this issue, because the Supreme Court has given them the go ahead. Look, these 16 lawmakers that have this certificate of return, it does not belong to them. These 2 senators that has this certificate of return, it does not belong to them. These 4 House of Assembly members that have this certificate of return, it does not belong to them. So all eyes on the NJC and the Federal Judicial Council. Let us see whether they will allow this injustice that will stay for 4 years.
All right, then. Let's move on and look at other topics that we'll also be discussing today. Don't worry about Japa. Nigeria will train more people. The president has assured Nigerians not to be bothered about the mass exodus of skilled workers from the country. And he has assured us, the citizens, that the federal government, in collaboration with sub-nationals, will train more people to fill the professional gap that are now in health, in tech, in the medical field, and in other sectors.
Basically, for me, I'm disappointed by that statement.
By the statement, it's a promise. It's telling us that don't worry.
That you shouldn't worry about the mass exodus of skilled Nigerians. No country in the world are now their best to go.
But he said we'll train more people.
This vacuum can never be filled in the next 50 years. This vacuum can never, let me tell you, the vacuum caused by the 3.5 years of the Nigeria-Biafra Civil War had not been filled 57 years after. The vacuum of 3.5 years of the Nigeria-Biafra Civil War has not been filled 57 years after. Do you know how many years it takes to train an expert? Do you know how many years it takes to train a professional? No country in the world are now their best to go.
So you feel this is not a proactive way to deal with it? It's like we're covering the problem and saying, don't worry, we'll look for other ways to train other people.
No country in the world. One day, when I was covering property for the Sun newspaper, I was at Third Mainland Bridge. Reconstruction was going on. I met a Chinese, understand, who is there as an expatriate. So he speaks a bit of English. So I engage him in discussion. Understand? I discovered that this guy just finished college just about 8 months ago. So he followed them just as an IT. Understand it? But he came to Nigeria as an expatriate. But there he just going this in training. And if you listen to Donald Trump, he will tell you that some of the immigrants that are coming to America are coming from mental homes. They are coming from prisons. And we have heard here that some foreign countries send their prisoners to Nigeria to come and work as expatriates. Do you understand that? That some foreign countries send their prisoners to Nigeria to come under the garb of expatriates.
That is, we're letting our best people go and just letting in anyone into the country.
So now, Tinubu has told you that you shouldn't worry about your best hands going abroad. That he's going to train others. How many years? Look, to train a professional will take you not less than 5 years. A thorough professional will take you not less than 5 to 6 years. So, which means you are encouraging this exodus. When you are saying, don't worry about them. So, for me, it is a wrong statement. It is very, very wrong. And those people that you want to even train, at the end of the day, they will still go. Because there's nothing much to keep them here in the country. Understand? There's nothing much to keep them here in the country. So for me, if this country really wants to move forward, we should be providing incentives that will keep our professionals here in the country.
Instead of saying, don't worry about people that have gone, we'll train more people.
For me, I'm disappointed by that statement. I'm shocked that somebody can make such a statement.
But what can be done to make the economy, the society much more friendly so that people don't have to go? Because I was listening to a discussion, I think it was earlier today or yesterday, where people were saying that, where someone was saying that some Nigerians that travel abroad, because it's crazy how you look at, even when it comes to football, we have many young Nigerian lads leaving the country and joining leagues in Iran, in Iraq, in Saudi Arabia, anywhere, just to get out of the country, living in places where they don't have enough freedom, they don't have much freedom, they probably don't even have a better life there, but it's just the system that is favorable. How do we make the Nigerian system that has experienced rot all these years? It's been over 50 years. Nigeria is seen as that place of lawlessness and anyhowness. How are we going to convince the present generation and the next generations that Nigeria is the place to be?
Look, I was reading something that somebody wrote. Some people are saying that they will not even mind dying in the desert, provided that they leave Nigeria. So things have become bad to that extent. There's somebody I met who he flew to Egypt and trekked from Egypt to Israel. Understand? People from Kanu desert, they trek 2-3 months to Libya and to other countries in Europe just to escape this country. Understand? And as you mentioned the football, there are offers that you can give to somebody. He must abide by it. Do you understand me? Now, let me use Victor Osimhen, for example. After his 1 year in Italy, he had wanted that to move. But the offer they gave him kept him there. So our professionals, our experts, if you provide conducive environment and give them incentives, they will not go. Why they are going is that what they are being offered abroad, they cannot get it here. In UK, a school cert holder earns more than a professor in Nigeria. In UK, a school cert holder earns far more than a professor in Nigeria. Then why must that professor not go to UK? So for them not to go, you have to create an enabling environment. Then give them incentives that will keep them here, because with the rate of inflation, even if you are paying them 1 million naira a week, they cannot be comfortable. It cannot sustain them. So you have to put something, an incentive that will keep them here. I'm not saying that you shouldn't bother about our skilled hands going abroad, that you're going to train other people. For me, it's a very big disappointment.
All right, then you are listening to the recap right here on Voice of the People 90.3 FM. My name is Ijeoma Innocent. I'm your host, and I have Mr. Peter Anosike with me, dissecting and analyzing the issues we are discussing on the program today. Let's move on to the next topic, which we need to look at, and it's also on the appeal court president. The Human Rights Writers Association of Nigeria is saying that the appeal court president needs to be sacked. That the appeal court president needs to quit, or to be sacked, he needs to resign for allowing illegality in the judiciary. I think I happen to know that this is an opinion that you agree with, due to conversations we've had on air before.
100%. The woman should have been sacked like 10 years ago. Understand? The woman is supposed to have been sacked like 10 years ago. It is a shame that woman is still sitting on that seat, because he knew what happened in Plateau State. Plateau State is where she came from. Understand? She came from the same senatorial zone with the immediate past governor of Plateau State. The immediate past governor of Plateau State appointed her son as a judge, appointed her in-law as a judge. Understand? So she now wanted to kind of reciprocate the gesture. Understand? Here she appointed the 3 judges that went to the state to do that miscarriage of justice. Then why, with the revelation that the Supreme Court has made, what morality is still keeping her on that seat? So if Nigeria is a country that works, if Nigeria is a country that was not from independence programmed to fail, that woman would have been sacked long time ago. But because some people at the top are comfortable with what she did, that's why she is still there. But what they don't know, that she has set a precedent that other people can still use in the future.
But can we say this precedent has been overridden by the Supreme Court?
But she's still there. Understand? What she did, everybody know that it is an illegality. Supreme Court has said that. Then for her to still be on the seat means that some people are comfortable with what she did. Understand? So it is something that somebody can still copy tomorrow. After all, the former Court of Appeal president did the same thing and get away with it. So what happened is 100% miscarriage of justice, and the people involved ought to be sacked, not even resign. They ought to be sacked and they're sanctioned.
Sacked and sanctioned.
They ought to be sacked and sanctioned.
The question now is by whom?
By the CGN.
The same CGN that...
By the CGN.
The same CGN that you...
Which means they are not ready to fight corruption. They are not ready to make our judiciary work. Foreign countries are taking note of what is happening. Tomorrow they will say investors are not coming. Under this condition, no investor will come. And I will not even encourage any investor to come, because Nigeria is too corrupt for good businessmen to come to this country.
If the person who is supposed to sack them, we've also spoken about before, where the CJN, even you have agreed that the CJN is not doing what it's supposed to do, right? Former Justice of the Supreme Court, I think it was Musa Datti, just spoke about how the CJN had too many powers. And he's also the one who's overseeing the Federal Judicial Council, right? If he's not come out to say that what the appeal court president has done is an illegality, then everything we're saying, is it not just pouring water on the rock?
Well, for me, at least, let him start using people as a sacrificial, as scapegoats. Understand? He can start using people now as to begin to sanctify the judicial system.
But wouldn't that be just to satisfy the in quotation marks the bloodlust of the majority?
Anyhow, for me, the Court of Appeal, what this NGO said is true. The woman should be sacked and sanctioned. And the 3 judges that presided over the appeal court cases of Plateau State should also be sacked and sanctioned. Otherwise, our judiciary is the worst in the world.
Worst in the world. Okay, then let's look at the final topic that we will be talking about today, because very soon we'll need to start taking calls. Article is saying poverty and hunger are escalating insecurity in Nigeria. Mr. Noske, is that a good excuse? Yes, we know there's poverty in the land, but when the poor is kidnapping the poor and forcing them to find money, is that not like trying to it's like when you wash a cloth, when you wash a dress, or when you wash a piece of clothing and then you squeeze it, you try to wring it to bring out water. Is that not like squeezing a stone to bring water out of it? If the poor person, due to poverty, is kidnapping another poor person because they are hungry to try to get money, they are saying this is what is fueling insecurity. Is that what's been fueling insecurity in the north?
But the truth is, everywhere in the world, the poor fight themselves. Understand? Everywhere in the world, the poor fights the poor. The poor doesn't fight the rich. The rich don't fight the rich. So the poor fight the poor, and the rich joined the poor in also fighting the poor. That once happens everywhere in the world. The rich don't fight their fellow rich, but the poor fight the poor. Then the rich willfully joined the poor now in fighting against their fellow poor. Because I have been to many areas where that the rich stay. Understand me? Some time ago, I was at Apapa club. Understand? So somebody was telling the other person, "Did you see my interview on you? I finished you." That man told him, "My own is coming next Sunday. You watch out." Understand? So these are 2 people in different political parties. So this one granted an interview to a newspaper, castigating the other one and telling him face to face, "Did you read my interview against you? That it was deadly, that you finished him." The other one told him, "Don't worry, my own is coming next Sunday. I'm going to finish you. Meanwhile, come to the tennis court. Let me beat you." Understand me? This one carried his non-tennis bat. This one, and they went to the tennis.
So no court. Permanent friends, no permanent enemies.
After that, you say, "I beat you. Buy me beer." So they were having fun. But the poor that read that newspapers, will now be crying more than the bereaved. Why the person that was spoken against was having fun drinking beer? Understand? So everywhere in the world, it is the poor that always fights the poor. The rich don't fight their fellow rich. They just joined, or the poor maybe provide some money and some ammunition so that they'll be killing each other. So what Atiku said is real. I have said it in this program that the only cure for insecurity is good governance. 1,000 Tokanos cannot stop insecurity.
Is pardoning bandits and terrorists and incorporating criminals into the police force, is that part of good governance?
I said the only cure for insecurity is good governance. Make the people happy. Give the people a sense of belonging. Create emotional attachment to the people. Understand? Let 100 million Nigerians join the army today. They cannot stop insecurity as far as the people are hungry. As far as there's poverty in the country, you cannot stop insecurity. To stop insecurity, you have to address hunger. You have to address poverty. Understand? So these are the issues that fuel insecurity in the country. Poverty and hunger. Then when you feel that the people you are governing does not matter, that you can do anything and get away with it. Understand? Okay, what's happening in Abuja? Wike is demolishing poor people's building. Understand? The buildings that they suffer to build, you are demolishing it. You raise the C of O to 5 million. How can a poor man get 5 million for C of O? These people will say, okay, let me go and die. Understand? Let me go and die. So it is the government that is even creating this insecurity and now looking for who that to push it to. Address poverty, address hunger, insecurity will go. Address hunger, address poverty. What is causing the banditry in the north? The Chad is drying. Famine is no more going on as it was 20 years ago. So a lot of youth in the north don't have job again. That's why many have come down to the south to drive motorcycle. So hunger is one of the reasons for insecurity in the north.
What about greed?
Greed is just less than 1%.
What about the Plateau people claiming that it's ethnic cleansing and they want to take their lands?
That one is fighting for land possession. The Fundanis want to have a foothold.
Will good governance still curb that one too?
Good governance can stop that. Understand? The only cure for insecurity anywhere in the world is good governance. Once the people are happy, insecurity will go. Make the people happy, insecurity will go. There's no other anything other than this. It's just, as you said, pouring water on stone. So they know the answer to the insecurity.
The answer to insecurity. Is there really one answer though?
I tell you, good governance.
Which will come in the form of what? And that's why I brought up the case of greed, right? The cases of land grabbing.
Greed is just a few I'm telling you, if the masses are happy, those perpetrating this insecurity live in the communities. The people in the communities will be fighting them. The people in the community will be giving their details to the security agencies. But when the masses are hungry and somebody is committing crime against government in the village, they will not talk. Because the government that they are to give this information to does not care about them.
But they're the ones suffering the effects of this insecurity. They're the ones suffering the effects of kidnapping and banditry. I don't fully agree with saying, okay, they won't talk because it's being perpetrated against
They will not talk.
They are the ones suffering it.
let me give you an instance. Let federal government come and put a transformer in your village. Villagers, even though they are getting power from there, villagers will come and vandalize it. Nobody will talk because why? It is government property. A government that does not care for them.
Okay then. The phone lines are now open. Give us a call. We surely want to hear from you. We're Voice of the People 90.3 FM. We're here to make sure that we give you a voice. It's 5 p.m. on the dot. Call me up 0700 903 903 903. That is the number to call to be a part of the conversation. 0700 903 903 903. If you'd rather send a message via our WhatsApp platforms, it is to 0700 903 9039. We are live on YouTube. Head on over to YouTube and type into your search bar VOP 903 FM and drop your comments. We surely want to hear from you. Who's my first caller for the day? Good evening. Please turn on the volume on your radio set. Welcome to the recap. Are you there? Good evening.
Good evening, ma'am. Is it Esther, right?
This is Ijeoma Innocent.
Ijeoma Innocent. Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, sire. What's your name and location, please?
My name is Evangelist Godwin, calling you from Mutapa Solo once again.
Welcome, Evangelist. Let's hear from you, sir.
I greet my how can I even call your analyst? I call him my mentor, because whenever I listen to him, he's a raw Nigerian, a patriotism. In fact, I don't even know how to describe him. He said the truth the way it is. It's like he's supposed to be a pastor. He's supposed to be a pastor because he will tell people the truth. Him and Chippy Chus and Darlington, these people, whenever I'm listening to them, I'm feel happy because they always say hit the nail where it ought to be. The issue of insecurity in Nigeria, at least a man that is about 30-something years, 38 to 39 now, I'm not a baby. Like, I can know, like 90s, not 80s, 90s. How Nigeria, being a peaceful nation, you come from here to any part of the north, somebody will request a vehicle, you buy a vehicle from Lagos here, you will drove down to north, to Meduguri, to any part of the north. You will just go there. So they deliver the vehicle, come back, they will pay you, you come back in peace. But this day, there is nothing like that again. Insecurity that is happening. The most important thing, I concur with Oga there, the analyst there, because it boils down to hunger. Hunger in the land is too much. You know, it takes the grace of God for somebody who is a sincere child of God that will pass through all these kind of challenges of life, and enemy devil will not tempt you. If they will tempt you, if you're not rooted in the word of God, you will go and do what you ought not to do.
Including kidnapping?
That is what going on now. So,
including kidnapping, Evangelist Godwin?
Man?
Including kidnapping?
You know, yes. It's like that. For example, in a community where there is a social amenity, somebody can find something, there is a light there. There is other thing, you know, you can use light, do one or two things. Even if it is pure water, you buy small fridge, you begin to sell, people come and buy from you. We can see cold water. You are happy, you are charging for people come. So when you are doing all this, people will be happy. Nobody will think of negative things. It is because some people are so frustrated, no food, no nothing. How can you gather 60,000 to buy one bag of rice, which before he gives you 10 bags of rice? And you cannot do, and people are not the same. Some people, where devil enter them and they agree, they concur with the devil, they go ahead and do all manner of things. Like this, what is happening now, kidnap, even in you can find out that it's not only the northern people, it's a joint issue from every cycle of this nation. So they are there together, giving information here and there. So if government can solve the issue of insecurity, solve the issue of hunger and frustration in the land, then Nigeria will be a peaceful place. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your call. 0700 903 903 903. Welcome to the conversation. Good evening. Hello, are you there? I've picked your call. Oh, good evening. Hello, welcome to the conversation. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening, Shoma.
What's your name and location? Good evening.
It's Nemeka from Ejibo, please.
Welcome, Nemeka. How are you today? Happy weekend.
The same to you, my dear. Good work well done for good work.
Thank you so
and
much.
And my greetings to
Mr.
And Nemeka, good evening.
I greet you, my brother.
Yeah, thank you.
The CK, may God bless you, my dear.
Thank you so much.
All right then. Chioma.
Sir?
The case is open to us. So when our Baba, the first man of the country, will stand and and tell us not to care that people are leaving the country. The professors are leaving the country. The intellectuals are leaving the country. Tell us not to care, that they will train more. This is a sign of failure leadership. This is a sign of it. Although, as me as a citizen, as a Nigerian I am, who love this country, I'm not expecting any good thing from these people. Because if we will accept something from where there's nothing, that means you are the one that's killing your hope. How can you come as a leader in war? And sometimes I do ask myself a question: who are these guys that are, composing this statement for them to be reading to us? This message they do read when they get platform like this, because I know that Baba no be write that the way they read. And somebody they write down for us.
How you take no?
He's a president. People manage him. Before he speaks, the people have to write for him to speak. Then they will be insulting us through this president. Why did you now you go? This Baba enter now, the same thing. When Baba get platform, now the insult upon us. Because this is an insult. You are telling me that there is no hope in the country. I can leave and go where I will for my passport. That's what you are telling me. But it's obvious. And it's very, very painful that the country then tell us that they are coming to renew our hope. Now they have started every hope we have. Today, the citizens are contributing money to rescue citizens like them from kidnappers. It's not a safe thing, my sister. Where is the security? That means you appointed security officers to be there just for waiting our funds for nothing. Is that what they are telling us? Now people can contribute money in a platform to go and rescue somebody from kidnappers. I will have security apparatus. No wonder I'm seeing all manner of ideas coming out. Bring 2,000 security officers. This one training bandit. They call it repentant wars.
Thank you,
Let me tell you people, we are just joking in this country.
Thank you, Nemeka.
When these two objects will meet together and you will to explode, nobody will be saved. Let's be honest with each other. Nobody will be spared. Nobody will be spared. Let them continue to go.
Nemeka, thank you for your call. Thank you so much. Welcome to the recap. Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Jonathan. I'm calling from London.
Welcome, Jonathan. How are you today? Happy weekend. Let's hear from you.
I greet your guest, Mr. Nosuke. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Yes, sir. So thanks for your viable contribution and your viable view. Let me quickly start from one of the comments that the last caller mentioned, that Nigerians should not be bothered about the
people who are
mass
leaving.
exodus of who are leaving the country. So, but the country, the president is aware about the when the Lagos University Teaching Hospital shut down. Is it 2 or 3 units due to lack of nurses? That is number one. And I don't know. I know Mr. Nosuke will be aware of Lagos State calling out the retired medical personnel.
Yes.
In Lagos.
Yeah.
Due to shortage of lack of manpower in the health sector. Yes. So my question to President is, how many years does it take to train a doctor? to train the nurses. So if you take like 6, 7, 8, 7 years without strike, so that is absolute, let me say, your 2 term in office to train a doctor. And you are boldly coming out to say Nigerians should not be worried. This is called for serious concern. Mr. Nosika, I don't know, maybe you are getting what I'm saying, sir.
Very well, very well, very well.
So if you take your year, 2 term of your stay in office to train a doctor without strike, and you are saying that we should not be worried, what about other facets of lives? And you say you should not be worried. They are taking our best. Me too, I'm in UK because I have something to offer the Western world. That's why we are here. And they say we should not worry. And these people are using Nigerian best brain to build their economy. I say we should not be worried. And this one is coming from the leaders of the country. This is appalling, sir. So thanks for your contribution.
Thank you so much. 0700 903 903 903 is the number to call to be a part of the conversation. You're listening to the recap right here on Voice of the People 90.3 FM. We've been talking about quite a number of issues, and I still have Mr. Anosike in the house. The last caller did raise a salient point, right? Let's hear what you have to say. Welcome to the conversation. Good evening. Please turn down the volume on your radio set. Good evening.
Yeah, this Tony Anosike from Shulere.
Welcome, Mr. Tony.
Yeah. This, I just want to add something. This Plateau something. How can, I don't know the judgment and all these things, but now they return the governor. So the House members, what are they going to do then? That's what I want to ask you.
I don't understand. Please come again.
I said this House of Rep, Plateau State members, that's 15 members or whatever. And I heard when I think the other Supreme Court said that they should return their this thing.
No, the Supreme Court didn't actually say so. It just said that that they've suffered from the consequences of a wrong judgment.
Yeah. Hello?
I'm with you.
So that's why, because that's the thing I've been giving me concern. Now they will say the governor. Now the House members. So what's their own take? What's their own position now?
That's why the PDP wants to take the case to court. All right, to see if they can get their seats back for them.
Okay. So in front of it, I'm very happy New Year, my namesake.
Thank you so much. I wish you the same.
Yeah,
I wish you did the same.
All right, thank you very much. Keep listening. The recap continues. 0700 903 903 903 is the number to call to be a part of the conversation. We're live on YouTube. Head on over to YouTube and type into your search bar VOP 903 FM, and you can get to join us live in the studios. You can also post your comment, and we'll take it before the end of the program. Welcome to the recap. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Hi, good evening. What's your name and location, please?
Yeah. Mr. Patrick from Mapolku, Rashid.
Welcome, Mr. Patrick.
Yeah, Mr. Anosike, the analyst. Hello?
Good evening.
I'm with you.
Okay. Where there is no rule of law, there is no justice. And where there is no justice, there is no peace. So all that they are having about insecurity is a form of anarchy. There is no two ways about it. There are different forms of anarchy. We can't tell people how they should take up on anarchy. So this insecurity is anarchy, just as Oga Peter said, that if they do the needful, which he mentioned, this insecurity will be quenched. So I said it the other day in another program that there is no rule of law. They have bought our judiciary, the judges, they have bought them. So there's no two ways about it. I cling to what Oga Peter said. Thank you.
Thank you. 0700 903 903 903 is the number to call to be a part of the conversation. 0700 903 903 903. On WhatsApp is 0700 903 9039. Send us a message and we'll take it before the end of the program. Welcome to the recap. Good evening. Are you there?
Yeah, hello.
What's your name and location, please?
My name is Anthony.
Welcome, Mr. Anthony. Let's hear from you.
I'm very happy to have a man like Mr. Ahmed in this country.
Thank
And I
you.
pray God will continue to give him knowledge, wisdom, and boldness to say the truth to this Nigeria. Because the way the Nigeria is going, the corruption is too much. And when I see an Igbo man stand, say the truth, I'll always be happy. Because those that are working in government, when they call them to come and analyze some words, you see them trying to protect their job because they don't want to be sacked. For them to say the truth, they find it difficult. And when I see Boma, they call them to come and analyze some words, they will say the really true part of the war. So see it. They don't want the Boma to judge, to enter there, to serve his country. Okay,
I don't understand, right? It seems what you're talking about is different from what we are talking about. What we're talking about here is insecurity is not a tribal thing, okay?
Okay, madam, the issue is that insecurity in this country is kind of a predator. When there is hunger, you can go a long way to do anything to take care of your family. So the first thing, when the hunger is not there, everybody is feeling fine. Nobody has the mind to do evil to anybody. When there's no hunger, you will see neighbors will be happy. But when we are enjoying me and hunger, I will need to think any way at all to make money to take care of my family. That is just it. God bless you.
Thank you. Thank you for your call. 0700 903 903 903 is the number to call to be a part of the conversation. 0700 903 903 903. We are on WhatsApp on 0700 9039 and on YouTube you can find us at VOP 903 FM. We are live right now, so join the conversation whichever way you want to. We're talking about a number of issues. First, we spoke about crowdfunding for to pay ransoms for kidnapping. What do you think about that? And also the president saying we should not worry about those who have gone out of the country, that he will fix things. Welcome to the conversation. Good evening.
Good evening, Chairman.
Good evening to you. What's your name and location, please?
My name is Philip from Oshu.
Mr. Philip, welcome to the conversation.
Okay, I want to thank Mr. Ahmed. And what I want to say is this. We have a problem, and we don't want to solve that problem. We don't talk about that problem. The problem is this: insecurity, corruption, everything we complain every day. There is one problem that we need to solve, one problem. That problem is the Constitution. The problem, see, if the Constitution has given so much power to the president to appoint a chairman, to appoint the Supreme Court president, anything that happens, any corruption, the Nigerians will say we want president to see. We want to see what president is going to do. All Nigerians are watching president. See, for this country to move ahead, we don't need to say, okay, 2027 is coming now. We want to contest, we want to say election is coming. How can you say you want to conduct election? Obi want to win. Atiku want to win. How can you win somebody sitting president that appoints INEC chairman? Sitting president that appoints Supreme. See, if it's you, that appoint INEC chairman, appoint Supreme Court. There's no how you can win him. What we are supposed to be discussing here is not election, it's not corruption, it's the constitution. How can we treat this matter so we can solve Nigeria problem? Because like something you said about one governor appointing his sister, his mother, as Supreme Court as judges in the court. If the law is against that, he cannot do that. But the law has given them so much power to do all those things. What is Nigeria supposed to do? All of us were supposed to agitate one agitation. Those powers given to all these leaders, let's amend this constitution. Let the powers go back to the people. Let the powers go to the constitution. Let the constitution look, anybody that commits any offense, if you look at the US president don't have all the powers. If Nigerian president is the most powerful president you can think of in the whole world. See, if our governors travel outside country, they use threats. If you see them, they are common people. But when they are in Nigeria, they use the way they behave because they are untouchable. See, Mr. Anosike, I want you to vote Darlington, all of you that is talking. Please, let's discuss this issue of constitution, amend the powers. Because we cannot be talking about election where the powers belongs to the president. Where the INEC chairman cannot do anything. President is the one, all the 36 states. President is the one that appoints all the electoral districts. Okay, how do you want them to be against the president? Senate, president is the one that appoints the president. How do you want him to be against the president? Anybody is the ministers, all of them, they are with president. How do you want them to be against the president? And president does not commit any, you cannot blame president. You cannot, because if you are the president, you will do the same thing. The problem is the constitution. We must work on that. 2027. Okay, we want to win Tinubu. You can't win him.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. Let's hear from others as well, all right? Thank you so much. Welcome to the conversation. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening, Chioma and my brother Anosike.
Welcome to the conversation, sir. What's your name and location, please?
Mr. Richard from Germany.
Welcome, Mr. Richard.
Thank you very much. I just came in, but I understand. I had a little the intro. The insecurity in Nigeria is not going to end. I mean, in another 10 years. I don't see it ending as long as the state, I mean, the government is not, is not seriously fighting insecurity. They are not even discussing this insecurity kind of thing. For example, Chioma, yesterday or day before yesterday, Mieti Allah established their own vigilante in Nasarawa State. And the last time I checked, Mieti Allah is not a political. They are not elected, politicians. They are not. And then they established this nomadic vigilante in Nasarawa State. The last time I checked, Chioma, when the Yorubas, the elected governors of Southwest wanted to, establish Amateku, we saw what happened. Even then, the Malami took them to court. They did all they could to stop Amatekun, even though that those people, the governors, are elected governors of Southwest. But today, Mieti Allah, that everybody knows that are, behind this, some of the insecurities allegedly.
How?
Allegedly.
How?
Allegedly.
Mieti Allah, they are cattle breeders, right? And they've always distanced themselves from any issue of insecurity or any farmers' headers crisis. So please don't make such allegations.
But Chioma, I know. Look, we are not babies here, please. And what pains me is when people want to play with our intelligence.
No,
we are very intelligent people.
You know,
Nigerians
Mr. Mr. Richard, right? Now, in speaking with friends and families and having conversations, you can make insinuations, but here you're live on radio, right? Whatever you say, I will be compelled to ask you to provide proof. Okay.
I said allegedly. Allegedly.
All right.
You know, because but you saw what happened during our in Benue State on that autumn. Even this Meiti Allah that established this one now is even the militant one, not even the political one, because this is what do you call him now? Something Harokodi, or what do you call him? The militant one, not even the really body. That is the one that established this nomadic something in Nasarawa State. What I'm trying to say is that even I saw police people were there amongst them, army, we are amongst them. But could you imagine what they did to Amoteku? Talk less of ECN and then Nandekano established. Did you see how they rushed and dealt with IPOB ECN? Did you see, are we in one Nigeria? These people, Malami went to the court, even the Supreme Court. They stopped everybody until Yoruba said, no, we must establish this thing. And they did it. May Allah. I'm not accusing them of anything, but they are not elected body. Why should they establish this thing while other people should not establish it? Look, there will be no peace and harmony without justice and equity.
Thank you so much, Mr. Richard.
No, excuse me. Finally, Choma, please go and watch what Dr. Olisa Abakubo said 2 days ago on Arise Television. Go and listen to that clip. Then you know that Nigeria is in a very, very big mess. Go and listen. This man said it. You cannot force people to live together. People must come together and decide whether they want to live together or not.
Thank you, Mr. Richard. Thank you so much.
And finally, he told Nigeria, why is Nnamdi Kanu still in detention? Go and watch this thing. Injustice. As long as there is no injustice, no justice, no equity, there shall be no peace. There shall no
Thank you so much. We really need to hear from others as well. All right. Thank you for your call 0700 903 903 903. Welcome to the conversation. Good evening. Please turn down the volume on your radio set.
Hello.
Hi there. Good evening.
Hello.
Hello. Good evening.
Yeah. Good evening. Yeah, good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. What's your name and location, please?
Okay, this is Mr. Anthony calling from my 12.
Welcome, Mr. Anthony. Let's quickly hear from you in a minute, please.
Okay, I thank you and with your guests there. You're actually doing a great work. You actually point on many issues, but we are ongoing concerning the statement of Mr. President that we should not bother of the Jabba syndrome. My brother, my sister, honestly, I was not shocked with that comment. Because if a governor that in this state can once upon a time said that he himself, part of his campaign promises, look at it, part of his campaign promises, and he's going to support 100,000 youths to leave the state, my sister, to leave the state. This is like giving up your armrest to other people. Then what will you work with? He's happy, contented with youth leaving the state, contented with youth, going empty stomach, contented with insecurity, and he's not bothered. He's telling us that means he has taken us as a fool. And this is one night to tell you that what we have here in this country is never election but selection.
Thank you so much.
If somebody that's campaigning for a seat can tell you that kind of a thing, that means you take the citizen for a fool. Because if you promise somebody has that kind of thing, you know that you have nothing to offer.
Thanks a lot.
That means you have nothing to offer.
Thank you so much. Let's hear from others as well. All right. 0700 903 903 903 is the number to call. Good evening. Welcome to the conversation.
Hello. Good evening.
Hi. Welcome to the conversation.
Yes, this is Dio. You double called.
Yes, you called earlier. Yes, and I put you on hold because we were talking with someone else. It's great to hear from you, Mr. Dio from Fagba, right? You always write us, but this is the first time I'm hearing from you. Welcome to the conversation.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah. Now, the signs of a failed government will start from, like Obi said, if the foundation that brought you into power is not credible, then you can never be credible. Now, they say you should come for debate. You didn't come for debate. Okay. It's just like you give an agbero. So, I mean, an agbero, an opportunity to enter an organization without certificate, without interview, without checking his background and every other thing. So what you get is gangsterism, is corruption, is all sort of dubious things to ruin the organization. So this is what is happening to Nigeria. Now, how can there be peace without justice? Now, our INEC and judiciary has put us into this nightmare. They are saying, the people are saying, okay, look at how fraudulent the election was. And now, when the judiciary is supposed to do the right thing, they have been compromised. They are doing that service for this government. So this is where we are today now. Now, look at people around this man, corrupt individuals. He appointed them. See how everywhere is started. You can see. So when we are saying all these things, it's not that we are just criticizing God. It's how you came into power. If it is not credible, it can never be credible. So you cannot build your foundation on lies, propaganda, eye service, and everything, and you will expect the house to prosper.
Thank you so much, Dayo.
Nigeria. That's why Nigerians are suffering. Instead of people making the people to be rich and prosperous, they are making them Ahmed and beggars in the midst of plenty. And they are now telling professionals now. They are telling people that okay, you should. They are telling people to jack back, that they don't mind, that they were going to do. Is that how a leader talks? Is this how what do you call his name? Obafemi Awolowo, Jakonde did in their time? It's showing you the bad sign of these people in power. They don't have anything to offer. They're going to destroy this country because of their selfish and dubious and corrupt ways of doing things. It's a shame. The worst of us is ruling the best of us. That's why, like they say, blessed are those who do not expect from this government, for they shall not be disappointed.
Thank you so much. We really need to hear from others.
Thank you for your analysis. God bless you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dayo. Same thing Dayo sends to us all the time is what he has just said by his own self, and I'm glad to hear from you. That's all the calls we can take today. One more call. Okay, let's take one more call. Welcome to the conversation. You're the final caller for this evening. Please turn on the volume on your radio set now, please.
Good evening, Mr. Amasike.
Good evening, sir. What's your name and location, please?
Joe from Bariga.
Welcome, Mr. Joe. Let's hear from you.
I beg your pardon?
Let's hear what you have to say, sir.
Yes, I'm talking now. I want to bring this angle, and it's very, very important. This woman requested to come back and return the money she stole, and nobody is saying anything about it up to now.
Are you talking about this? And
he pleaded. He said, "Please let me come back. There are billions of dollars in Nigeria. I gave it to some people." And he mentioned the one governor. I don't want to talk about the governor. He mentioned that governor. He's carrying our $6.something billion, and nobody is talking about it up to today. So and then he said, "We want to fight corruption. We want to fight corruption by the lips." So please, Nigeria is not working. Nigeria is not working. Nigeria is not working. Bye-bye.
Thank you, my final caller, for the evening. To everyone who's called in, thank you so much. It is now time for me to take your comments on YouTube and your messages on our WhatsApp platforms. We'll be beginning from YouTube, and thank you, Ola Adewale. I can see all the comments you've been dropping, and I really appreciate it. We'll take it now so that we do not rush through the comments. Okay. On YouTube, we have Ola Adewale saying, are they kidnappers or terrorists? Which one? Or are they both, Mr. Anosike? This is what the government knows what to do best, to remain deaf and dumb to the plight of Nigerians. Abi, does Nigeria need a mental evaluation? Fellow Nigerians, the worst is yet to come. My countrymen and women, do you notice a state capture? Because my observation from this corner shows helplessness. Do you think the leadership can pass a smell test? Do we ever ask ourselves questions? Because if at 63 years old we are still crawling, what happens when we turn 100? The solutions to Nigeria's problems are at our fingertips. Because of leadership, we are in a deep hole. What a shame. You also say, do you know, Ms. Chioma, that if Nigerians have the zeal and the will today, we'll be out of the deep we are in. Okay, Mazi Prince says, hello Chioma, Mr. Peter Anosike, happy to see you guys. Emmanuel Osi said the president is too weak. Emmanuel Osi said the president is too weak. Anado Hygieno Sunamdi says the old man is seeing things his own way, as the political leaders are docile in leading the country right. Same, the opposition leaders fail to mobilize the masses against bad leadership. Okay, heading on over to WhatsApp. On WhatsApp, we have quite a few messages starting from here. Okay. Good evening, Mr. Anosike and Chioma. Ransom payment criminalized. Fighting insecurity tooth and nail. Terrorism and banditry would end in the twinkle of an eye if Amnesty International tasked the president to fish out and probe the politicians behind the horrendous abduction and disgusting killings in Nigeria, irrespective of whose horse is God. Every other excuses or pretext given by the military for not being able to tackle and hack away insecurity are mere distractions before gullible Nigerians. Nigerians should protest against insecurity now. It could be anyone tomorrow. Chisco. On ransom payment, he says, it's likened to miscarriage of justice in all ramifications by adding insult to injury. The law leaves an abductor's family in a dilemma and the victim in comatose condition. Rather, the felony meant for the victim's family, who is seeking for a way out of the abducted family member by paying a ransom, should be allotted to the Minister of Defense, who is saddled with the duty of protecting lives and properties, but abdicated in his own capacity. Furthermore, the implication of the law means nobody should surrender before an abductor, but give up the ghost, or if chosen to surrender, you are doing so at your own peril, as your fate is left between you and your abductor. That's from Chisco. Ezekiel from Ejigbo says, good evening, Chioma and Mr. Anosike. The whole world is aware that the government of Nigeria does not have the political will to end insecurity, reasons being that they are majority in political power, and some of them are cashing out. A caller once called on this station to tell how he saw an helicopter delivered food and other items to kidnappers in the forest. Oh, wow. All right, I'm hearing this for the first time. Chioma, it is quite unfortunate that the president of a country is making such a lame statement that we should not bother ourselves about the exodus of our professionals. We have passed the time of political campaigns. We do not need promises that he will train professionals. It takes a very long time to train professionals. Uche Hope. You didn't tell me where you're writing from, Chioma. Nigerians should always be ready to help our security agencies by providing them with information. These kidnappers can't carry any operation without their informants who live around the victim's vicinity. I agree with Mr. Anosike's submission or on crowdfunding. Poor people will suffer most if this continues. Our security agencies are not spirits. When we see something strange, we should report to security agencies immediately. Olu from Badagry. Good evening from Adeyemi Kamoru from Satellite Town, Lagos. Those of you that are deceiving Peter Obi that he can win presidential election last year, God will forgive all of you. Peter Obi, as governor of Anambra, doctors went on strike for 13 months. Lecturers went for 15 months. Peter Obi refused to conduct local government election for 8 years. Okay, let's see. We have more messages. Good evening. It's Chioma here and Mr. Anosike. The raw and bitter truth is that 1. The government, like past governments, know the problem of this country. 2, they know what to do, steps to take to fix it once and for all. 3, they have the power and resources to fix these problems. 4, but they lack the will, the moral standing, and the passion to do so, period. Muyiwa from the mainland. Muyiwa said, period. Good evening, Chioma Mrs. It is quite unfortunate that the president cares less about the jackpot syndrome. Insecurity will stop when we address the land grabbing phenomenon. Simeon from Abuja. Thank you, Simeon. Good evening, Chioma Innocent with the analyst. It looks like Nigerian government does not care for her citizens. Imagine some doctors and military men with police officers service for their land, for all the lives, and retired heart attack because they cannot take care of the retirement age. Akimi, peace ambassador from Strongwater, says, which type of country are we in? Hakimi, peace ambassador from Strongwater, Ogun State. I did not want to text, but when I heard you say, when I heard what you were saying to Mr. Richard, I had to text. Samuel Autumn of Benue State was attacked by Fulani militia. The leader of Miyetti Allah openly declared their hatred for him. And Samuel Autumn called on the police authorities to arrest them, and they all turned a dead ear. This same group, their leaders claimed responsibility for the attack. It's in the news. Samuel Autumn was attacked more than 2 times. The last attack would have cost him his life. So when you try to dismiss Mr. Richard's comments, I take it as you being naive or living in denial. World Terrorism Index ranks the Fulani headsmen as the 3rd most dangerous group in the world. So don't come here and dismiss any comments like we don't know how to read. You didn't even tell me your name or your location. I'm sorry, no vex. All right, forgive me. Evening, Chairman, Mr. Nosike. I want to give credit to the president. Nigeria is secure. No kidnapping, no bandits, no Boko Haram. There is food, inflation, and free and credible election. INEC and Judiciary are doing well. There's light everywhere. Investors are staying and clapping. Everybody is rejoicing. The youth are not jackpotting. Journalists are free and laughing. These are the praises of the low-grade minds and eye service propagandists. Are you not in the nightmare? I won't join the bandwagon. I'd rather say it as it is, and I won't be hypocritical with the truth, just like you journalists. What have we done, Dayo? What have we done? There is a saying, anyone that see and support evil, evil will not depart from him. As usual, continue. Blessed are those who do not expect from this government, for they shall not be disappointed. It's a shame that the worst of us is ruling the best of us. Dayo from Fagba. Good evening, Chairman, Professor Anosike. The blood of innocent people wasted in the name of civil war can never go in vain, and hiding the truth is haunting Nigeria and will not stop until justice prevails. Sydney from Ejibo. Okay. At this point, Mr. Anosike, I would ask you to give us your final words. But let me just take this final message that just came in. It says, we can see the difference between Israel's government and our own government and armies. They have zeal and determination, and they did not mix their work with politics. Final words on everything we've talked about so far.
Well, for me, I condemn that statement by the president that he doesn't care about those our skilled men and women living in Nigeria. There's no president in other country of the world can utter that statement. Every country in the world protects their professionals. Every country in the world protects their technocrats. Every country in the world protects their citizens. And for a president to say that he shouldn't bother about our skilled men and women living the country, for me, is highly disappointment. Understand? I condemn that statement, and if he has a hearing here, he should apologize to Nigerians for making that statement. It doesn't sound good any bit. Then I have listened to the comments. Nobody supported crowdfunding. Crowdfunding is very, very dangerous. And for trying to deny the atrocities of the Fulani herdsmen, I'm disappointed at you. Fulani herdsmen are the main perpetrators of kidnapping, killing in Nigeria. At no matter in Abia State, they are the people that are killing, raping women. I mean the Fulani herdsmen. In Benue State, it is the Fulani herdsmen. In Plateau State, it is the Fulani herdsmen. So there's no need covering what is obvious. That Richard used that word allege. It's not allege. The Fulani herdsmen are terrorist organizations. So we shouldn't be covering anything. They are the ones that are committing all these atrocities in the country. That's my final take.
All right, then on that note, that is all we can take on the recap this evening. My name is Ijeoma Innocent. I'll be back with another episode of this enlightening program on your airwaves next week, Saturday. All right, thank you so much for joining in. It is always a pleasure to do this with you. Until next time, my name is Ijeoma Innocent, and have an amazing weekend.